Hey, welcome back to Seclusion Vibe. If you're new to the channel, this is a car camping channel. It focuses specifically on camping out of a Honda Element, but pretty much everything we discuss here is universal to nearly any vehicle that you want to car camp out of. Today, I'm going to focus on FAQs. This is a video that I've been promising for a long time. I said that if I got enough comments or direct emails to the channel that I would compile those and do an FAQ, so I'm going to be answering all of those questions today. So I've done my best to compile all of the questions and comments that I've got, again, mainly through email. We do have an email, by the way, if you haven't seen it on the channel description. I'll throw it right here if you want to send a comment or a question. I tried my best to not read them before filming this video, so my answers will be, for the most part, spontaneous. I did accidentally get a peek at a couple. All right, here we go. Question number 1. Boxers or briefs? I prefer boxers. I do keep a limited set of whitey-tidies that I was once required to have for a past job. Okay, number 2. Oh, I cannot say that this on this channel. Nope, not going on. Moving on to number 3. Oh, I also cannot say number 3 on this channel. So thank you very little at... Wow, I can literally not even say the handle that you posted this under. Yeah, thank you very little. Real class act, guys. All right, on to number 4. Okay, here we go. What is your favorite thing about your Honda Element? Say the seats overall. The ability to fold the seats up, take them out relatively easily, and fold them into a bed. That's my favorite thing about the Element. I changed the order and edited this one in after that last question because they mesh well. What is your least favorite thing about the Honda Element? Personally, one of my biggest reservations with the Element is that it is not one of the two-door roadsters that every vehicle I've owned before it was. I like driving smaller, faster vehicles, but the Element's versatility for camping makes it well worth it to me. And apparently attaching a children's car seat to the hood, roof, or trunk of your vehicle is uncouth against both the state and God, at least according to the local sheriff, my mother, my sister-in-law, and one magistrate judge. So I needed a vehicle with 4 seats. Another thing that I would add is that the back seat of the Element can be really hot. I've mentioned that in a previous video. Between the sunroof and the rear AC that just doesn't blow too much, it gets really hot back there. If you could have one upgrade to your Honda Element, what would it be? That's a great question. I've thought about this. While I would like to say a turbocharger, it would be a seat swivel. There's a guy online who makes a bracket that you can place your front seat or your passenger seat on, or both, to allow them to swivel backwards. I'll throw in some pictures here on this one. I think it requires a little bit of custom work, and it's a bit pricey, but I've definitely had my eye on that. All right, next question. If you couldn't drive a Honda Element or your Honda Element dies, what vehicle would you buy? I've had my eye on a Ford Bronco Sport model. I always bother people in parking lots about those things. Everyone seems to like them. What are some safety tips that you would recommend for car camping? That's a really good question. I like going out by myself and doing my own thing, but it is really important to tell people where you're going. Establish a check-in time. Make sure you keep to it, and let people know your plan, and let people know if you deviate from that plan. When I back into a campground, I always back in facing out so I can leave quickly if I need to. Obviously lock the doors. As you know from previous videos, I don't like dogs. I do not own one. But if you want a good security feature for camping, a dog is a pretty darn good one. Also, I would definitely recommend, if you're going to be out of cell phone range, to have a CB radio on you. And not just that, but have an established communications plan. So actually print out a sheet of paper that has all of the emergency services in the areas that you're going to be on. Knowing that you should go out on channel 9 for police, fire, EMT typically, Coast Guard if you're near the coast, Navy or Army if you're by a base, etc. 19 is a good one also to know. Typically that's what truckers use. So if you're outside the range of emergency services, but within range of a highway, you can also you can often get a trucker with a more powerful CB radio on them that can relay a message, and they're always willing to do that. What is the best piece of gear that you carry? All right, I'm going to cut the video. I'm going to give multiple answers to this question, and I'm going to focus not on the best piece of gear that I carry, but I'm going to focus on several of the best pieces of gear that I carry that might not be extremely obvious. I'll be right back. Good question. Okay, I'm back for the gear review. I collected a few things. First, this has been featured on a previous video. Sheepskin. It's one I got from New Zealand. It's in a canvas bag, and it's vacuum sealed right now, and I didn't want to take it out. But this was a game changer. This will keep you really warm if you wear it, or place it down over your sleeping surface or your mat. Speaking of that, an actual pretty thick air mattress. The Element, as I've said, the seats fold out, they give you bed, it's great. It looks a little bit more comfortable than it actually is. It's pretty lumpy and uneven, so you don't want to be using just a 1.5 inch self-inflating camping mat. You really want something like this one that's about 3 to 4 inches thick. If you want to be truly comfortable, totally worth it. So yeah, air mattress first, sheepskin on top, get into your sleeping bag. Next thing, brush sign. This one's a Gerber. I don't like the plasticky handle. Generally, I think Gerber makes really good quality stuff. This one has a really aggressive tooth on it, so it can be a bit tough to saw, but overall it seems to be really good quality. If you're not car camping with a brush saw, you're not camping. You're just sleeping outdoors. You really want one of these. Speaking of camping outdoors, an emergency sleeping bag. This is not a piece of gear that I actually use. It's only, as the name says, for emergencies. This has it's waterproof. It has thermal mylar on the inside. It's essentially a reflective coating that radiates heat back into your body. So it sort of looks like aluminum foil on the inside. Definitely something that I always travel with. This is just stretchy tape. This tape, when you get a blood drop, they'll put a Band-Aid on or something, and then they'll wrap the stretchy tape around around your elbow. This stuff, especially if you carry some gauze with you, if you mess up and cut yourself on your on your saw or something like this, this stuff is great to have. Another thing that I would mention is my sock setup. I've mentioned in previous videos, I'm extremely warm-blooded. I do not get cold easily. The one exception though is my feet. My feet do get very cold. And so from your stage right here to left, I put on dress socks that fit very tight, my normal socks over those, military boot socks, and then heavy grade fluffy camping socks. I'm very serious about my socks. I don't mess around. A few less random pieces of gear. One thing that I really like is an electronic lighter. This is an arc lighter, has a lithium-ion battery in it, and it just arcs. You can charge it in the vehicle, and it will light easily in the wind. I would highly recommend one of these things. Speaking of electronics, probably obvious to most, but an additional battery for electronics for if you can't charge them, to make sure that you can have your cell phone charged for GPS, what have you, an emergency situation, but an external battery, I think is a good call. All right, lastly, speaking of electronics, I do mainly for emergency situations, but also for long-term trips. I do have a fold-out solar cell, which is, it's pretty convenient, packs up really nice. It's just kind of like having an iPad or something like that. Why do you use so much military style gear? I'm going to cut for a brief second and grab a few examples. Okay, I'm back with some props. The main reason I use military surplus gear is that it's very good quality. The main reason for that being that because of law, it's almost always made in America, and there's a huge difference in quality when you buy American. That's not to say that I'm not some jingoistic nationalist. That's not to say that other countries don't produce good quality. I've used great gear from Japan, Canada, especially from Germany, a little bit from France, the Scandinavian countries. But generally speaking, you can't go wrong buying American. This is a good example. I bought a 3-pack of these undershirts about almost 15 years ago this February 2025. And as you can see, they're still in excellent condition. These are standard military issue. I'm actually going to mention the brand, which is Softy. They're either calling me a softie for needing this shirt, or it's a Special Operations Forces t-shirt. I'm going to go with the number 2 thing, and if you know the movie that I'm paraphrasing from, you have horrible taste in movies. Next, this is another good example. This is a standard gear bag. A lot of said Special Operations Forces use these. Aviators do too. It doesn't have a shoulder strap on it. It probably should. But it's really good for loading up with a bunch of light, soft things, like all of your winter clothing. I'll put my ski suit, all my socks, my changes of clothing, my jackets, puff vest. Everything goes into this, and it's just a really easy way to keep it organized in your car. Another example of great gear, these are Navy and Marine Corps issued aviation gloves. They're really form-fitting, and they're designed so you can still use touch screens with them. when you're wearing them. So these are great. These are tricky to find. I have noticed that they struggle a lot more with modern touchscreens. I think they were designed for a lot older ones, but still great gloves. This is another one. This isn't something I use as much for car camping. It is good under some circumstances, but I love fun tips and tricks. And this is a standard military duffel. Let's see. You can see it's got straps on it. This is great for if you're carrying a lot of gear, especially on an airplane. You can see it's really big and long. What I do is you can cut the straps off of it and store it in, say, your backpacking pack. And then right when you check your bags on an airplane, stuff everything into here. And you have a ton of space. I mean, you can pack a lot of gear into one of these things. And your bags won't get beat up, your straps won't get frayed, stuff like that. This thing will get beat up instead. It's tough as heck. It's water resistant. And then when you pick up your bag on the carousel, you can take it right out because you cut the straps off and only have the handle left. So not very comfortable to carry, but just take all your stuff out, throw it on your back, stuff this back into your backpacking backpack. And it's a great way to keep your gear in good shape. This thing has been all over the world with me and it hardly shows any type of wear. All right, next question. All right, this is one I anticipated. What is your favorite weapon to carry when you car camp? Do you carry firearms? I'm not going to go into this question in detail because this is a camping channel, not a firearms channel. There are plenty of excellent firearms channels out there if you're interested in that. This is one that I did get a peek at. I knew it was coming, and so I did actually compile some notes. To answer the question up front, I personally do not carry a firearm when I'm camping. What I'm going to answer is some considerations that I would offer to guide, your decision and whether you choose to or choose not to. So first, obviously, can you legally carry a firearm? Do you have a felony conviction, things like that? Well, of course you can't. If you're crossing state lines carrying a firearm, you have to be really careful about that. The laws change, in just a couple of feet. Typically, if you're driving through a state without stopping, you're fine carrying a firearm, even if that firearm you're carrying is not legal in the state that you're crossing through because of federal law. But even if you stop for gas or stop to get lunch, the laws become very gray. And these laws are serious, if you are not familiar. Many people, I'm sure, who are watching are. But these are serious laws. If you break them and you get caught, you will go to adult prison. And so it's very important not to break these laws. Other things I would consider is how to carry a firearm in a vehicle. Some states say that it has to be openly carried, so it has to be clearly visible. Some states say that it can't be, and it has to be locked in a container out of reach of the driver. Some states dictate whether it can be loaded or unloaded. Some states consider your vehicle to be an extension of your home, so you're generally safe carrying a firearm in those states, and others do not. So in some states that do not consider your vehicle to be an extension of your home, placing a firearm in a bag or a glove compartment or something like that may require you to have a concealed carry license to carry the gun that way. Some states require you to declare the fact that you are carrying a firearm to police officers if you are pulled over. There are theft concerns. If you're driving through a state that requires a weapon to be in plain view and you walk into the grocery store, you are inviting a break-in. And that's a really bad situation to be in. If a firearm is stolen from you, you could be considered negligent in that. Another big one, where is it? When I'm car camping, I like to park my car, set up my campfire, start cooking my dinner, and most of the time I'll crack a beer. So at that point, if I'm carrying a firearm, I'm in my vehicle, I have the keys inside the vehicle, I have alcohol in my system, and I'm carrying a firearm. Now, there are specific instances in the United States where that is legal, but it usually is not. So if you're going to crack a single beer, I would highly recommend you do not carry a firearm. Now, there are exceptions, though they don't really apply to me. I would definitely carry a firearm if I was in bear country. Not black bears. Black bears don't scare me. You yell at them, they run away. I've yelled at lots of black bears in my life. But if you're talking about grizzlies, Kodiaks, and especially polar bears, yes, that's a time where I would carry a high-powered rifle, at least a .357 Magnum like this. If I was going to be doing a lot of hiking or something out of my car, I prefer something shorter, probably higher caliber. 45-70 government would be my preferred round, and a shorter guide gun, or just simply carry a 12-gauge shotgun with slug. Again, much shorter than that one. I would add that if I was hiking in serious bear country, again, Kodiak, grizzly, or especially polar, the first two, I would be carrying a can of bear spray on me. I don't camp in those areas, so I don't carry that. If I was in polar bear country, I would definitely have a flare gun as well. So I got this question a bit out of order, so I did some video editing, but somebody asked, what is your favorite defensive weapon to protect yourself for reasons of your own safety when car camping? So one, I usually carry my knife. A lot of people laugh and make fun of me, saying it's a little bit big. It's a military K-bar knife. I actually like this knife, not because I think I'm tactical or cool, but because I'm kind of an amateur. I like having a larger knife because it's easier to control, and therefore I feel it's safer. You can also clear light brush with it, and also use it as a hatchet, essentially, if you need to, with a block. I've split wood with it before up in the mountains when I was really cold, and actually, no kidding, kind of needed it. So I like carrying a larger knife. Obviously, you have your basic foldable knives. Basic can of pepper spray. You can buy this for a couple bucks online. Pretty much legal everywhere. Can't hurt. And finally, one thing, if you're worried about personal protection, the one thing I would recommend is an extendable spring baton. It's got 2 layers of springs and a hard metal tip on it, and you whack people with it. Pretty simple. You can do a lot of damage with one of these things, even if you're not that strong. With everything here, be sure to check your local laws and your state laws. This is not legal in every state, territory, or district of the United States. It's legal where I live, but it's not legal everywhere. And don't cross the border with us. If you're visiting our friends up in Canada or our friends down in Mexico, they don't like these things, so don't take those down there. The best weapons that I carry with me when I'm car camping are these. my fire bottle, and hand sanitizer. These two things have protected me from more than any weapon that I have showed you. Oh, this is a good one. What is your favorite luxury item if you were car camping that you take with you? Well, with car camping, you can have a little bit of luxury. My luxury item is a pillow. Not just one, but two. I always take one for my head and one for my body because I'm a side sleeper.
Fine leather goods. Treat yourself.
So, to the wonderful commenter who asked that question, my luxury item, pillows. Next question, what are your favorite YouTube channels? I'm going to give this a two-part answer. You can see who my channel subscribes to on YouTube, but I typically subscribe only to camping and outdoor channels on the Seclusion Vibe channel. I'll give you three. The first one would be Nate and Kara, K-A-R-A, Nate and Kara. They do some car camping, they just do, but it's more of a general travel channel, and they're really good. Love them. Two, Rosa, R-O-S-A, Rosa. She does a specific Honda Element car camping channel. I think she's kind of the gold standard. She has a really cool rig, built up great. Finally, three, Outdoor Boys. Regularly not a car camping channel, but a really good outdoor channel. Super great for the family. Love it. Two bonuses, not related to car camping. My favorite YouTube channels are Smarter Every Day, that Destin puts out of Alabama. If you want to check it out, just do an internet search for Smarter Every Day and say Prince Rupert's Drop. Watch that video. It's one of his earlier ones, and if you like that video, you'll like his channel. Second one, CGP Grey, so spelled the British way. And if you want a sample of his, look up the China-Hong Kong video that he did. Those are the two non-car camping videos that I watch most. Okay, last question. What is the hardest part of becoming sorry. What is the hardest part of becoming a YouTube influencer? Sorry. I think what this person meant was a YouTube content creator. I'm not an influencer. I have like 8 subscribers at the time of this video. That's what they meant. I know what they meant. Sorry. Back when I did my first channel, it was, I don't know, 2007, 2008. I was in college. I digitized old commercials for Datsun Z sports cars because I was driving one at the time. And I digitized them and or compiled digitized versions that other people had made and threw them up on the internet. And it was super easy. You clicked a button that said, create channel. You named your channel, uploaded your videos, and gave a description, and that was it. That's all you did. And you got likes, and yeah, nothing more. Today, it's a lot more complicated. You have to follow legal forms, you have to submit your ID, you have to do training on content that could affect children. You have to wait for certain time periods to pass before you can do certain things. You've seen in previous videos that I've said, you might see advertisements because I'm monetizing the channel to support our charity, to address homelessness. And apparently I don't even qualify for that. I don't have enough likes and views and anything like that. And I don't publish enough at a high enough frequency to even qualify to monetize these channels, which I didn't know when I filmed the big tranche that I did on the front end before publishing. And so it's gotten a lot more complicated, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. There are reasons for those things, and I appreciate every one of them, but it is a lot harder. Definitely, I don't mean to discourage anyone from getting into it. An average guy like me can do it. You can do it too. Trust me. It's not that hard, but it's just a little bit harder than it used to be. Okay, that's all. Thanks for watching Seclusion Vibe. I hope you enjoyed this FAQ video and it taught you something. If you have more to add, please continue to do so in the comment section or by emailing the channel directly. Hope you're doing great in the new year. Same to your families. And if you get lost on the trail this year, we might run into one another. Again, Happy New Year. If you've watched before, you know that all proceeds from this channel are donated to the National Alliance to End Homelessness. However, this channel is apparently not yet large enough to monetize and qualify to benefit from the revenue from ads you see when watching. So if you feel this content earned a donation, please see the link in the description below to donate to the National Alliance to End Homelessness through our channel's direct link to this charity, even if it's just $5. I talk to a lot of homeless people and can assure you that if you don't think $5 can make a difference, then you've never been homeless. You will be contributing to the mission to inspire faith that ending homelessness is possible, to lead with love and equity in everything we do, and to relentlessly pursue bringing people home. And thank you.